Dear friends, excellencies, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to address the opening of this dialogue between Malaysia and Thailand, co-organized with the Royal Thai Embassy in Malaysia. It is no ordinary dialogue. Inasmuch as it is labeled, as you could see earlier, significantly as strategic. It is indeed strategic because Malaysia and Thailand share a long, multifaceted relationship steeped in tradition, in trade, and transitions of almost every kind. Although not volatile, it is also lively for the occasional turbulence. But knowing how to address it constructively, focusing on problem solving, forward-looking collaboration, that's what good neighbors are for. And on that score, I believe we have done pretty well. We are 2 years away from the 70th anniversary of our bilateral ties, the Platinum Jubilee. While there is much to celebrate indeed, we should be always mindful not to take each other for granted. That adage reminds us that loss of respect could be the inevitable outcome if we become complacent and we assume that we know each other so well that there is no need to step back so as to get a better perspective of our state of play. Internal and external imperatives might change the nature of interests, relationships, and positions. The question is, have we taken sufficient effort to find out and be apprised of the current state of affairs? I am confident that our panelists in both sessions will be able not just to address the past, present, and future raison d'etre of the bilateral relationship, but also to provide actionable proposals to drive tangible goals and deliverables. We are indeed fortunate that you, panelists, former ambassadors, prominent academics, and think tank practitioners are well fortified to engage in the discourse with knowledge and conviction. We are further assured of your readiness to address the crucial and tough issues headlong. Ladies and gentlemen, on the bilateral front, a shared concern is the peace and security of our border and adjacent areas, in particular the north of the Malay Peninsula and Thailand's quote-unquote deep south. Prolonged instability is a fertile breeding ground for security and societal challenges. We must not forget that peace, security, and stability is not just the absence of conflict, but also the availability of unhindered means of prosperity and development for local communities. In this regard, the approach taken by the leadership of both Thailand and Malaysia to focus on removing obstacles for future development endeavors is indeed the right step forward. The optics of our Prime Minister's meeting at the border of Kolok and Rantau Panjang, and not only in Bangkok or Putrajaya, of course, although 2 years old, is a powerful one. I hope that this is something which is reflected in both spirit and practice by the respective bureaucracies tasked to implement relevant decisions. As ASEAN Chair this year, Malaysia is grateful for Thailand's leadership as the current coordinator on sustainable development cooperation, supporting ASEAN's ongoing efforts of continued sustainability on existing energy cooperation and initiatives to the shared vision of a more integrated, sustainable, and secure energy future for the region. These future-looking initiatives take on more importance at a time of geopolitical and geo-economic flux. Similarly, Cooperation with Thailand is crucial for Malaysia's efforts to address the many complex ramifications of Myanmar's civil war. While both Malaysia and Thailand host growing numbers of refugees and asylum seekers from Myanmar, it is Thailand that shares the longest land border with Myanmar and has substantial contacts at multiple levels with assorted actors in the country. ASEAN-led engagement can only be effective if key stakeholders in Thailand, including the military, are on board. Lastly, despite differing national prerogatives, Malaysia and Thailand share common ground in responding to the shifting balance of power and the turbulence by great power rivalry and the arbitrary application of diplomatic and trade pressures. I need not, of course, cite the elephant in the room for this. Moving forward, I believe a coherent strategy that will preserve some kind of autonomy for Southeast Asia is one that sees us pursuing greater regional integration and trade, active participation in global institutions, and forging new linkages with other regional groupings, while reducing over-dependence on any single power. As neighbors, there is always a reason to go forward together hand in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, it would be remiss not to mention Malaysia's role, spearheaded by Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim and with the support of other leaders, to de-escalate the border conflict between Thailand and Cambodia last month. While a ceasefire is in place and efforts to develop more coherent monitoring mechanisms continue, the path ahead remains susceptible to risk, especially if political will falters on both sides. In the longer run, I believe it will be equally crucial to begin the difficult but necessary process of trust building between both sides. While Malaysia's efforts may have seemed novel, it was anything but. We were motivated not only as chair of ASEAN, but as a brotherly neighbor and friend to both Thailand and Cambodia. And there is a historical, reciprocal precedence for this. Excellency, you will remember that it was Bangkok, after all, which hosted important discussions between Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines back in May 1966, which of course led to the end of the confrontasi soon after. The desire to avoid a similar conflict was a key reason for the formation of ASEAN. It was also Thailand which helped broker the end of a 4-decade-old communist insurgency in the Hat Yai Peace Agreement in December 1989. On hindsight, while this may be small and not broadly representative, nevertheless, it demonstrates a significant extrapolation of our theme today: honoring the past, engaging the present, and shaping a prosperous future. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a productive dialogue. Thank you.